Mr. Hueth feels like garbage, my soul is made of garbage, and this is Comics, Etc., episode 14.
The etc. is garbage.
Welcome to our newest episode of Comics. We'd like to apologize for the absence. We want to apologize for all of it.
I apologize for none of the absinthe. A little bit more of the absence.
But we are so happy to be back. We have just been bursting through all of the seams, waiting to talk about all of our favorite junk in comic book form. I'm keeping the trash motif going. Without further ado, let us fill you with...
I was going to say Schwarbage.
And make up for all of the time that we have missed together. Ready to go.
Let's do it!
What's that? I love doing these comics. Make me infinitely happy. Just to let you guys know. Anyways, the first comic I'm going to review for today is one that I've been really excited for. Love it, and I can say that it is exactly what I wanted from the series. I'm going to start off by telling you my score for it. 10 out of 10. The title is Gotham Academy. Now, when I heard about it, I was going to say the first thing that attracted me to it was Becky Cloonan. But, to be honest, literally everything about it attracted me to it. High school drama in Gotham. The main character is not white. I know that sounds weird, but it was actually really important to me that we didn't have yet another white bad character being introduced. Female to boot. 2 females were shown on the cover, automatically showing us that the plot is going to be just more bat boys. At first I was a little disappointed when I found out that Becky Cloonan wasn't going to do the writing and the art. She was just going to do the writing. But I really like Kerschel's art. It is somewhat reminiscent of Becky Cloonan's art, I think, in that they both have a little bit more of a fluid kind of style. A little more, not exactly cartoony, but not as harsh as a lot of the series you see. And all of our main character, we don't know what has affected her to make her the way she is in the comic. We don't know what's changed her, as she mentions, why she's feeling like she's a different person, why she feels ostracized, what it was that she saw during the last summer. But it doesn't matter. I already empathize with the character. I feel like I understand her plight. I feel like we're 2 peas in a pod. She's an instantly relatable character, and the side characters are as well. The younger sister of her not quite ex-boyfriend, Maps, also an amazing character. I just thought they're full of energy, full of life, and for being in Gotham, that is an exceptionally wonderful thing. The actual school itself looks like it was just a renovated Arkham Asylum. There's obviously some sort of supernatural creature in there. I can't wait to explore the history of everyone, and I especially can't wait. There's one part where Olive and Bruce cross paths, and Bruce is obviously aware of who Olive is. I want to know what that's about. But yeah, like I said, 10 out of 10. Absolutely, you should read it. It's only $2.99. It's a steal. Read it. Don't steal it. Just because it is a steal doesn't mean you should steal it. Don't do that.
For my first comic today, I am going to be reviewing Edge of Spider-Verse issue 4. I walked with a spider. This series, I'm actually really sad it's not going to be an ongoing. I understand why. It's just kind of like to tie in, oh, here, look at all these wonderful little things. But I think it'd be interesting to see an ongoing of Edge of Spider-Verse, where it's just a bunch of tangent, Spider-Man universes that have nothing to do with the actual Marvel-verse. However, let me get to this one. This one is awesome. So, in this one, it features Uncle Ted, the girl next door, and my personal favorite, spiders! This one has a much darker tone than I think I've ever seen any Spider-Man go. And I loved it. I loved every second of it. The only thing that really threw it off from the dark tone and, the awesomeness of it was the fact that it had to get tied in towards the end. And so they just kind of throw in someone who's been attached to all of the multiverses of these Edge of Spider-Verse stuff. They do kind of explain who he is a little bit. Overall, this felt really rushed, but it was awesome. If this was a 2 or 3 parter, they could have paced it infinitely better, and it would have been an amazing arc. This is going to get an 8 out of 10 for me, because I wish it was longer. That is it. It was so good. If you are into, if you want to check out the kind of darker take on what could have happened to Peter, or if you are into kind of like kind of a Grindhouse B feel, pick it up.
Or if you have a fetish for spiders.
If you love spiders, or Girls Next Door,
Or Uncle
Uncle Ted, pick this up. You won't regret it.
Alright, and my second comic I'm going to review today is another one that I've been really, really excited for. Thor #1. So it's still being written by Jason Aaron, who's an amazing writer. If you're not reading Southern Bastards, or if you haven't read his Thor up till now, or if you're not reading his other new series, Men of Wrath, you are a fool, young Skywalker. And there's a new artist on there. Before we had Isad Ribic, I think, for most of the series, and he had sort of that kind of like epic feel to his work. Whereas the new artist, Dodderman, I really like his art, but it does feel a little bit more mainstream. But I like that about it because I feel like there is a tonal shift. Whereas this one, I feel like the new female Thor is going to be a little bit more interactive with the rest of the universe. We're not really introduced to her until the very last page, which I was really disappointed by because I was hoping we would get like her first adventure in this first issue, but it made sense. We saw Thor struggling with his inability to lift Mjolnir, which we're introduced to already through Original Sin in the old Thor series. We see the return of Odin, which again we already saw, and Odin is also unable to lift Mjolnir. We find out basically everyone is. So I'm really interested in seeing who this character is and why only she is able to lift it. And I also really like the conflict that's being introduced between the All-Mother and Odin, who has just returned. Because Odin expects to just take up his position, but the All-Mother has been ruling Asgardia, and she's been doing a better job of it than he ever did. And so I really want to see her stay in power. I'm really excited to see that conflict. So again, we don't get introduced to the new Thor, but all of the pieces are played out. All of the players are introduced, and we're shown that there's going to be a great conflict that this new Thor is going to be involved in. And I think that's just majestic storytelling. Either way, like I said, I was slightly disappointed though again by the very late introduction of Thor into the issue, and so for that reason, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10 because again, everything else was really great about it, but I was hoping for more female Thor.
Okay, so this series is one that I super love. Haven't been keeping up with because I've been picking up the trades. However, the next trade is coming out on the 7th. It is Wonder Woman! Issue 34. It's awesome. I have no idea what's actually going on in this issue. But the art is still amazing. The writing is still fantastic. I knew who people were, so they added enough context clues that it seemed like, oh, I haven't been reading for a while, but I'm nice and caught up. Now, the reason I picked this up, even though I've been doing the trades, is because they had the variant release. And it was the selfie. Now, for those of you who haven't been keeping up with the series, early spoiler is the fact that the Amazons, including Hippolyta, get turned into stone by Hera. That's her name. Later spoiler, she gets solidified? She's now walking around. She's a golem now. However, I didn't know that when I picked this up. So I just kind of saw a cover where Wonder Woman puts her arm around a frozen statue of her mother. It was no bueno. However, once the Chang and Azzarello arc is done, like their run, I'm probably going to stop until they come back. This issue is going to get a 7 out of 10 because you know what? I lied. 8. I'll give it an 8 because it was good enough that I Wonder Woman. Future's End. We're back.
We did miss 21 last week, and then this is 22 this week. So just really quickly, in 21, we were finally given an actual recap as to why things were the way they were. Why the Zero Two heroes were in Cadmus Island.
Deathstroke's doing what Deathstroke does.
Get a little more explanation from Red Arrow and Green Arrow. Or Arsenal?
I don't care.
And that's all that happened in that issue. Some good filler information, it didn't really move the plot along any, but it finally answered some questions.
Unlike other issues that have been answering questions that were like, okay, we don't care about any of these questions.
Or
this one,
questions we already knew, like it was Brainiac.
But this one actually answered a whole bunch of questions that we wanted answered, and so it felt like something actually happened.
Right.
Nothing really happened, but
It felt like something
it felt like something happened. They filled a void that they needed to fill much earlier, but it's filled.
Alright, now for this one. This does not happen.
Done.
No,
Not even a smidge.
Shazam does not Shazam lightning bolt into his Superman crest.
You can quote us on that.
We're introduced to the rest of Voodoo's party because we already met Courtney, who's Faraday's niece, but goes by Mercy, and then we met the other two, Banger and Mash.
Those are very, very interesting names.
Their costumes combined to make the British flag, the Union Jack.
I like their power.
They're kind of like Moss and Manos, where
Yeah.
they have to be close to each other for their powers. Oh, yeah, kind of like Moss and Manos.
They're kind of like them. I like them.
Yeah.
I like the
Yeah.
interestingness of the characters. Honestly, I think their characters would be interesting if this series wasn't gonna, blow chunks.
And it just seems so weird because every time we're kind of given humor in this series, it's like out of place.
Yep.
And I mean, there have been some humorous moments, I guess, that work. I couldn't name any.
Yeah.
But I know there are times where I haven't been disappointed by the humor, but for the most part, elements like that, they feel a little out of touch with the rest of the story. I guess I'm curious to see why they're a thing.
Yeah. It'll probably be explained by issue. What, we're on 22?
Like 45.
I was gonna say 35. I think they're gonna speed it up. And then slow it down once we hit 37. There was a bit of Batman Beyond and Plastique, which I think they're going to flesh out a little bit more. It may not be great, but it did add a little bit more dynamic to two characters that have been kind of lackluster. I mean, I love Batman Beyond, if you don't know. But this series seems to be just like, we have Batman Beyond in it.
Yeah, that's kind of been like the big selling point was, Batman Beyond gets his proper introduction to the canon, but then they really haven't utilized him. All we've gotten so far is that he is Batman Beyond. We haven't gotten any of his personality really, but when he didn't turn Plastique over to the guards, it was the first time we saw him being a real human. And his interaction with Plastique here, again, they're both really unique characters when you think of the fact that Batman Beyond has no personality and Plastique is off the walls.
One has no personality. The other has personality growing out of her yin. What?
It's like a classic 80s sitcom. But I think we'll be able to see more of Terry's personality coming out in relation to him talking with Plastique. Over in the very, very, very last couple of pages, a character who we saw briefly a while ago,
A long while.
who we were both really excited for his appearance, makes a reappearance along with the Atom.
Oh man, I was actually. It sounds weird. I hate the Frankenstein storyline, the Agents of Shade storyline. It's actually really picked up in this issue.
I'm wondering
Like,
what's
come
happening
back
to Frankenstein.
I'm super interested in what's happening here.
Yeah, because in all honesty, their storyline and now Green Arrow and everyone's storyline are the only ones that are actually contributing to the plot.
Yeah.
Like, these are the ones that will give us answers that we need, because Stormwatch or whatever, Stormforce, I don't know, they're actually interacting with the giant, like, Brainiac thing.
Spoiler alert.
Well,
It's Brainiac.
You never saw it coming. I don't know. I feel like those are going to be the plots with the most payoff.
Oh yeah, most definitely. So, if you had to give this a number, what would it be? I'd give it an I.
An imaginary number. 7. I'll say 7.
I'm gonna give it a 6.
6.5. We'll meet in the
even
middle.
it out.
Alright. Thank you for coming back and being with us. We're glad to be back. Glad to be doing these again. I love you. I do. I was going to say something else, but my true feelings came out.
I couldn't hide it anymore.
I love you dearly. I love all that you've done for us. I love all of our 73 followers.
73, y'all.
All 73, y'all. It's wild, man. That is 73 people who are entertained by us enough that they will casually glance at their phones when an announcement is made from us.
They will go on YouTube and be like, oh, hey.
These people exist. So thank you for validating our existence. Thank you for watching. Thank you For commenting,
Remember who you are and what you are. Ugh.
don't go causing any trouble out there in that crazy world.
And if you could be Batman, why would you be Batman?
Magic and moral dilemmas. Welcome to Jackass. I'm Dr. Fate,
I'm Felix Faust.
and this is Magic Battle. Presto!
We want diversity. We want literally everyone to come and give their opinion on comics, because we know everyone reads comics. We know everyone is interested in the things that we're interested in. Myself conceited.
Everyone
there's
is
got
interested
to be
in
someone
what we like.
every demographic who likes the same things that we do, and we want to hear your opinions. That's what we are. We're a platform for everyone's opinions, not just white and black heterosexual males.